Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnicht Buick GMC Sports Update. A couple of hires for the Jaguars over at the Senior Bowl. Very important hires, I think. Doug Marrone is the assistant head coach and the offensive line coach. Obviously, George Yarno is not well, so Luke Butkus had to sit in there last year. And this is a developmental part of the team that really has to perform better. And to quote my friend and colleague Cole Pepper, you know, maybe Marrone's coming in for the easiest job to get better. I mean, this is a group that gave up, what, 61 sacks, 55 of them to Blake Bortles. I mean, this is one of those situations where you look at it and you go, okay, you need somebody in there who really can work with these guys, develop these guys, make them better, bring in some new talent as well, find out if Luke Jokel is really the guy that you hoped he was. You know, all of those things that are on the offensive line, and you wait and see whether or not it develops at the level that you hope. That's an important hire. Also, a kind of guy with some gravitas on the coaching staff, and I think that's important as well. Former head coach both at Syracuse and most recently at Buffalo. In addition to that, they hired Greg Olson as the offensive coordinator. And here's a guy who's been on the Jaguar staff in 2012, most recently the offensive coordinator in Oakland. And yes, they were terrible, but believe it or not, they have worse players than the Jaguars. So Olson is a developmental guy. He wasn't able to do much with Blaine Gabbert because Gabbert didn't really respond much to that. We've seen that through his career. But Olson is considered a guy who can really work with people and communicate very well. He's the perfect guy, I think, for a guy like Bortles, who wants to get better, very coachable. You'd watch him work with Frank Selfo over there, working with footwork and different things. This is a good hire for the Jaguars, maybe the most important hire for Gus Bradley, because if these guys are successful, then Bradley gets to keep his job. If they're not, and they're bad again next year, then they're all going to leave after this coming season. So very important for the Jaguars as they continue to be over at the Senior Bowl, and they're working toward the free agency, obviously, and the draft coming up in April. The whole thing about deflated footballs, that's going to come out at some point. There's no question that somebody, I think, did that, and it would be a quarterback's initiative, you might say, to try to have that done. There are some logical explanations, but it certainly seems fishy, mainly to the public because it's the Patriots. So we'll find out more about that as the NFL not only continues their investigation, but releases the findings as well. The Patriots are now a slight favorite in the Super Bowl. More on that in the coming week. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Nimnicht Buick GMC Sports Update.